Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Spartan podcast. We have the wonderful Oliver Fehlandt here, and he is a spectacular life coach. And not only a life coach, he is a true, just a spectacular human being, quite honestly. I don't know what to say. Oliver, you can take it away and talk about a little bit about yourself and where people can find you.
Thank you, Kazi, and I appreciate that introduction. I am indeed a life coach, but I really like to say I'm just me. And being in my energy helps elevate people. So, you can say life coach. I like to sometimes say mind, body, spirit life coach because it's kind of a trinity of all three of those things. But you can find me at Instagram at oliver.fehlandt. And my last name is spelled Fehlandt. But less about the plug, more about some of the conversation we're about to have today. And just a little background, I've been coaching for, I would say, a little over 4 years now. And one thing that I realized was I started out in fitness, and that quickly melded into this mindset, spirituality, and really emotional intelligence type of coaching, because I realized there was this disconnect between people striving for success and pouring so much energy into their business and not pouring enough energy into themselves, which is a direct translation into their business. So that's kind of my, Kazi's focus is like helping you elevate in your sales game, helping you elevate in your business. My game is helping elevate you so that can expand into every other facet in your life: health, wealth, and relationships.
Definitely. And I think that's so important. Understanding yourself, understanding where you are physically, emotionally, spiritually, all these things really do have to be aligned if you want to achieve your true greatest self, in my
100%.
mind. And I'm glad you agree. and it, I've seen this time and time again, Oliver, and I'm sure you've seen this too, where guys that are, really pushing hard on their business and they're just failing to figure out that one thing. They're like looking in all the self-help books, they're looking for solutions everywhere, but they're failing to look just within themselves, just a little bit of reflection, you know? And I guess that's where someone like you would come in and help guide them to those realizations.
100%. Because I think something that's super important to understand is our beliefs will dictate our life, and our perspective kind of dictates those beliefs. Now, the thing is, all of that developed when you were a kid. All of that developed as you were growing up and kind of unconsciously developing these beliefs, these mindsets, these emotional triggers, right? There's things that bring someone anxiety or bring someone fear or anxiousness. All of those things develop as a kid. So then when you're an adult and you're, especially in sales, can be kind of, uncomfortable at first, or, anxiety inducing if you're not used to that. And so you put someone in that position and they've gone through all these things in their life. And if their mindset is not directed in a way that's looking to the future, and instead it's looking to the past of how they used to be, they're going to stay in the past. They're going to stay in their old ways of, thinking, old ways of being. So you got to kind of help them let go of that emotional and mental baggage that's stopping them from being able to hike up the mountain with ease, right? It's like putting a really heavy backpack on and you keep walking and you're like, this is really hard. It doesn't have to be that hard, right? And I'm sure you know it as well. Like once you let go of those things, it's so much easier to step into your greatness, which is readily available to every single person because it's within you, not outside of you.
And I personally believe that God energy, God is within all of us. Like you were saying, it's like greatness is within you. I believe God is within you. I believe God energy is within you. So sometimes what I like to do in the mornings to help me get amped up, any girl who spends the night with me will know this, is that I like to yell in the mornings at like 6 a.m., 7 a.m. when I'm taking a cold shower. I'll go like, I am a god. And a very primal thing that I do. It's
I
like
love
my
that.
morning ritual. I look in the mirror and I just, you know, reimagine myself in my greatest form. I'm at a point now where that's just who I am right now. That is I'm in my greatest form. And these are the kind of things you also have to understand as the audience watching this, listening to this. I really hope that's something you take from this video is how to transmute your inner God energy into your greatest form so that you can exceed in all aspects of life. Like Oliver said, that's what he does. He helps people excel in all aspects of their lives, spiritual, mental, their physical well being. That will always translate to a healthy business as well.
100%. And I love what you said there, that it's just your way of being. It's like he doesn't even think about doing it, he just does it. And it's actually what you are doing, which is super interesting. So everyone listening to this understand what he's actually doing here. What he's doing is he's changing his state. He's consciously changing his energy through his own mental willpower. He's saying, I'm going to go into this ice bath, not ice bath, but this cold shower, which is obviously uncomfortable, but I'm going to go in it because it's going to change the way I feel. And then he screams, I am a fucking god, right? And that itself, that screaming, that energy, that vibration is rising. He's not just like saying, I'm a god, right? With no energy. He's saying it with energy and emotion, which is changing his state, which is elevating his vibration, which is polarizing him to the energy he wants to sit in, which is available to all of us. So when you're not feeling that great on a day, maybe you wake up, you're just kind of tired and groggy, maybe you're just not feeling like you want to get after it, not feeling as inspired or motivated, understand that you have the mental willpower to look at yourself in the mirror or to consciously think about the feeling that you want to experience. Let's say it's courage, let's say it's confidence, and focus on that feeling and then do something that's going to help elevate it. Maybe it's you jumping up and down, like, I got this, I got this, I got it. You get louder, I got this, I got this, I got this, I got this, right? Or screaming, right? Or like making some primal noises, because in men specifically, that is that inner warrior. That is an energy that you have within you. Everybody does, right? So you can polarize yourself no matter what energy you're in, right? Mental health is a whole other thing, and I've experienced depression, anxiety. So I'm not saying that you'll just cure your mental health, but what I'm saying is you can consciously change your energy through these skills, and also just by thinking and focusing on a specific thought and feeling that you want to experience.
100% Oliver. I agree. And what would you say, Oliver, is some of the mental exercises that you like to put your clients through when they're, let's say, feeling down or they have this anxiety about achieving a certain goal?
So one of the biggest things is that if a client came to me with that, or maybe it's just anybody, right? First thing is to dive a bit deeper with that. It's like, what's behind that? So you don't want to just like stick with the surface level. Oh, wow, I feel anxious about my goal, or maybe you don't have as much faith or belief that you can really achieve it, right? You're not sitting in the energy. You're like, oh yeah, I can do this, but you're still feeling a little off, right? There's still some doubt there. If there's still some doubt there towards your goals, more things need to be let go. It's not about actually adding anything. It's about you sitting in with that energy. Let's say it's anxiety, right? Sitting with the energy, closing your eyes, and focusing on where do you feel that. So the first thing I would do is have my client close their eyes, like close your eyes, right? And be like, where do you feel it, right? And they might say like in my chest, or just all over my body, and I have them just sit with it, and I just have them sit with it in their body, because sometimes we get way too in our head. So first thing is just sit with the feeling. Don't try to label it. Don't try to change it. Don't try to judge it. Don't try to resist it. Just sit with the feeling. And that's the very first thing, because we always try to change it. We're like, oh, I feel anxious. Like I need to like go and do something right away. No. First thing is sit with it. Recognize it. Don't do anything about it. Just be like, okay. And then ask yourself, can I let this go to God? Or can I let this go to the universe? Or you can just say, can I let this go? And see what comes up in your mind. Because this is the thing, everything will change in stillness. right? It's not about more words, it's about less words. So when you're able to sit with yourself with stillness, your answer will come to you. People don't realize that. All the answers are within your head, right? It will come out, right? The answers will come out through you. So if you sit with the feeling and you say, "Can I let this go?" then you'll probably have another feeling or you'll have another thought, and that will come up and be like, "Yes, I can." And if it says no, well, then you start to have a conversation with that no part of you. So one of the things I do is I help people have conversations with these feelings within them. They're called ego states. So that anxious side of you, I'll have my client talk to that anxious side of them within their mind. It sounds kind of weird, a little funky, but everybody has this, right? The confident side of you is a little different than the anxious side of you. So when you have a conversation with that anxious side of you, you can get to the root cause of it and you can start to eliminate it so you start feeling less anxious from more things. So that's the biggest thing is like sit with yourself, don't try to change the feeling, and then ask in your mind, can I let this go? And then see what voices come up. And if you have a negative voice, just start having a conversation with it like any other person. Like, what do you mean no? Why can't we let it go? And just see what it says and have a conversation and be like, almost encourage the person to be like, hey, well, we're going to decide to not live in that energy anymore. Right. And what you're basically doing is you're kind of reparenting yourself. Like, hey, there's no need to be anxious. We got this. Right. We can fucking do this. We've done things before like this. So let's fucking go. And it
Yeah.
almost, it brings in the confidence to your goals. And I will say it's a lot easier when you're sitting with a coach who knows how to do that. But that's something anyone can do. And by meditating on a daily basis, you can improve that practice. And I really encourage if you're not meditating on a daily basis, just start doing it 10 minutes a day, and you'll get better and better at diving deeper with yourself and connecting deeper with yourself. Because if you can connect deeper with yourself, Kazi, I know you know this, you can connect deeper with the person across the phone or the person across the table or the person across the Zoom that you're trying to help with your service, right? If you can't connect with yourself, it's going to be really hard to connect with the other person.
And just to add on to that point, Oliver, I like what you said about, reminding yourself you have been through this. This is nothing new. This too shall pass.
Yeah.
And a lot of times in that stillness that you get your clients to participate in, that's when a lot of solutions just pop up.
Mm-hmm.
It's that time with yourself, that stillness, just being calm and understanding that no matter what, you will survive at the end of the day. Your business problems aren't going to take you out of the game. Uh, you're not. You're still going to be breathing, living. You're above ground. It's another great day.
100%.
The anxiety and the pressure that you're placing on yourself, that's not going to solve your problem at the end of the day. That's energy that could be used for solutions.
Exactly. And it's a lot of times there is this pressure and this anxiety of like, I need to be somewhere else than I am right now. That's actually a lot of times what I help people work through because it's like, where is that pressure coming from? And through kind of the work that I do, I'm able to get very deep with the client of like, oh, you have this pressure because, when you were a teenager or a kid, like your parents would force you to do sports or something, right? And so you feel this pressure that you need to work, work, work to maybe make your parents proud, right? And you're not even, sometimes we're not even conscious of it, which is this is the craziest part. Is a lot of times these things are unconscious, right? We have unconscious beliefs about ourselves, and then that's why we wonder why we're still where we're at, right? I have this goal, I have this vision, I feel different, right? But for some reason, it's hard for me to take enough action to get there. Well, because the faith hasn't fully evolved. There still needs to be parts of you to let go, right? You need to let go of the old version to step into that new version, right? Which requires healing. People don't realize that, right? It requires healing to let go of those parts because our ego attaches to that. Oh no, I want to hold on to this. It's like No, this is the old you, right? To become the new you have to step into the uncomfortability. You don't know what this is, right? People are like, oh, well, like it's uncomfortable. I'm kind of scared. Like, there's a bit of uncertainty. Well, it's like, of course you're uncertain. You're walking into a cave. You're trying to climb up, maybe not a cave, but you're climbing up a mountain you've never climbed up before, right? There's going to be a little bit of unease. But when you step into faith, it doesn't matter. You're like, I'm good. I've never climbed up this mountain, but I'm safe. I'm strong, and I'm confident I can get up to the top. And then you take every step that you can to the top, knowing you're going to get there, even if you've never done it before.
I like that. Yeah, definitely, definitely. I like the idea of using mountains as a metaphor, especially, and climbing things. I love that. I personally use that in my own mind. Like you're just climbing every step forward. That's what's getting you close to your goal. Even when it comes to business, when it comes to sales systems, similarly, we look at what moves the needle forward. What's helping you climb that mountain? Everything else has to be almost let go of that doesn't help you push forward in your climb. The top of the mountain, you might not ever actually see the top. That top might not even exist, but we're still gonna climb because we have to try. We have to at least try to see the top. That top might only exist in our minds. We might not ever actually reach it because every time we get close to it, we form a new top,
100, yep, 100%. I
right?
was about to say, like, once you climb one mountain, you look across and you're like, there's all these other mountains. The point is, you're not trying to achieve the happiness at the top. The point is, you're enjoying every step you take climbing the mountain. Because if you're waiting for the top of the mountain to be like, I got it, I made it, I'm here, you're going to be sad and sadly mistaken. Because that's what a lot of people do. They say, oh, if I make 10K a month, if I get this yacht, if I get this girl, if my business gets $2 million, like, if I'm number one in the company for sales, like I'm going to be happy. Like that's it. It's never it. It's never it. Nothing will fill any hole that you have within you. And that's one of the things I work with too, is like getting people to a place where they're so whole, it doesn't even matter if they got to the top. They'd be like, oh, cool, this is awesome. But like, time to keep on moving. So it's like sitting in the energy that you've already made it. And now everything else is just a plus. And I go, well, let's continue to become the best version of myself because I'm consistently at every second the best version of myself. It's that energy, right? Way different.
100%. Because if you get too strung up on reaching the top, getting the yacht, getting a hot girl, you'll never actually get there. And even if when you do, there'll just be another new top in your mind. So you'll be happy for like a second, the small glimmer in time until you hit that next goal. And then what? That's it. So are you telling me your life is only made up of these small glimpses of time where you're actually happy? What kind of life is that? It's a pretty sad life in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, on to the next thing, on to the next thing, on to the next thing. And I get that, right? I get like you want to kind of be a little unattached from your goals in terms of like not too positive about, oh yeah, I did it, and like not too like, okay, like that was great, on to the next thing. It's like hold that gratitude in every moment. Like be grateful instead of like, oh yes, like this is it. I finally made it. I feel validated and accepted. It's like you were always validated and accepted, right? And I think that's a lot of people strive for success in the pursuit of that, and that's what I mean. That might be unconscious because they might have been unvalidated, unaccepted when they were a child, right? And we don't realize that. And then so we seek, oh, if I do this, if I become successful in XYZ, well, then I'll gain acceptance, I'll gain validation. It's like external validation and acceptance are good because we're social beings, but it's always going to come from within you. And until we learn that and accept that and transform into that, it's going to be cat and mouse, right? I'm sure you've experienced that before. We've all experienced. I've experienced that before, right? Until you learn that that's not it.
No. And that's part of becoming a higher conscious being. Because people who are very strung up on, validation seeking, even, validation seeking leads to what? Shiny object syndrome, right? Because you're constantly seeking, you're not grateful enough for what you have achieved. Thus, you're constantly looking for other opportunities to get there faster, which in turn just destroys whatever you've built, and then you're back to square one. And that is a lower conscious state. A higher conscious state is much like Oliver's speaking on, which is when you're okay with yourself, you're happy with yourself, you're grateful for the journey, you're happy with every step you're taking in the journey. The climb is where you're becoming your greatest self. The climb is where you are happy. Your happy place is you just being alive. You're getting the opportunity to actually pursue your goals rather than actually smashing it out of the park. Just pursuing it and taking active steps in the right direction makes you happy. In general, you will automatically become a happier being, which will lead to you accomplishing those goals at a faster clip, which will also help you achieve that higher conscious state.
100%. And levels of consciousness is one of the main topics that I love to talk about, as well as kind of just bring my clients into, because your level of consciousness is your literal state of being. So the point is, it's not about you trying to do these things to achieve that goal, that sales goal. It's about who do I need to become to be the person that achieves the sales goal. So instead of me just like almost trudging through mud because it's not me, right? It's not my state of being yet to get to that goal. It's like, who do I need to be? Who's the person that achieves it already out of just their state of being, right? And when you take that approach, you start to change the way you act, because everything is about identity. If I identify as the person that fucking crushes that sales goal, then I'm going to be that person. I'm not even going to try to be the person. I'm going to just be the person, right? And that's what levels of consciousness too, because think about this. If you have three people and three different people at different levels of consciousness, whether it's that their base level or this is just what comes up when they're doing sales, let's say. One person is in fear. One person is in pride. And another person is in love, right? I think fear is at like a level of consciousness of 100, right? We'll just use this scale. Pride is at 190 and love is at like 500. And the person in fear is obviously going to do worse than the person in pride. The person in pride is going to do worse than the person in love, right? Now, pride is a pretty high energy. I'm sure a lot of people in sales are actually in pride, right? They do good. That's a high energy. You can get things done. But there's still this win-lose situation. You're still kind of like, I'm better than this person, or I'm even better than the client, or they don't know what they're talking about. And you come from a different approach. But imagine if you're in a state of love, which is a very high level of consciousness. You're going to step into every sales conversation with a different energy. Now that person is going to feel that energy, that loving energy, because that's what it is. You're trying to help this person, that you're going to do better than everybody else. And you're going to be so detached from making the sale or not that you're going to make more sales. Because you feel you're so whole and good that you're not in scarcity, you're in abundance. Right?
100%. And being in that abundant state is so important in sales calls. Nobody likes a desperate salesman.
No.
Nobody likes a desperate salesman. You can smell it a mile away. Being in an abundant state is so critical in sales call, because of a number of things. Number one, nobody likes desperate salesmen. Number two, the client can feed off of your energy of abundance. 9 times out of 10, in my opinion, you might disagree with me, people live, sad lives. In my opinion, people live sad lives. A lot of the times people are in the mud and they're not happy with who they are, where they are in life. And when a client is on a call with you, a closer, they want an experience. They may not say it, but that's what they want. Why do we as human beings constantly we're looking for distractions, we're looking for entertainment and different places?
Escapism.
Escapism. Exactly. A client wants an experience. He'll never say it, but it's another form of escape. If you can offer that on a sales call by being in that abundant state, high energy, love, empathy is just radiating from your being, people can tell, especially on a Google Meets or a Zoom call, especially over the phone. People can tell. And if you are in that higher conscious state, people can definitely resonate with that and want to do business with you. It's a lot easier to do business with someone who's a higher conscious being, who's in an abundant state, who is literally there to help them get to their goals faster than someone who's in a lower conscious state, who's needy, who is just trying to take. They can smell that. And it's such a pivotal lever that you need to be pulling in your growth as a business professional, as an entrepreneur, as a human being. Highly underrated.
Highly, highly underrated. And part of that too is, if anyone's familiar with the Swedish psychologist Carl Jung, he he fathered analytical psychology, and he's the person that kind of came up with the map of Myers-Briggs and like personality types. So Myers-Briggs took what he taught to create personality types. I'm not going to go super deep into that because that's a whole other thing. But he came up with this theory of the collective unconscious or the collective consciousness. And that's basically to say that consciousness is almost this like sea. It's this like ocean of consciousness that we're all connected to, right? And he figured that out because there's all these archetypes that have been developed through history and still come up in the mind of human beings, right? Think about like the hero's journey is a very good example. There's so many stories and books and movies depicting the same story called the hero's journey, right? It's not that that person is studying the hero's journey. It's that just this idea came to their mind and it was like, here's this story. And then boom, it's the same thing. So what I'm saying with that is everyone is connected. Your intention can psychologically and psychically be felt by the person. Just like your thoughts are actually going to be, felt by the other person, even if they're aware of it. They're going to be like, for some reason I feel like kind of anxious, or this person's like has ill intentions, right? Usually you've probably met someone who has ill intentions and you felt something weird, felt something off. So when you have the intention of I'm trying to sell this person over I'm trying to help this person and be curious about their issues and their problems and figure out how can I help, right? They're going to feel that. They're going to feel your intention. So the biggest thing is understanding everyone's connected and your energy can be felt, and the intention you have in your mind is going to be registered through them. Even if they're conscious of it or not, it's going to be felt in some way, shape, or form.
I agree. 100%. Intention, it resonates with almost every human being on this planet, right? Women, for an example, at bars can feel the intention of like a creepy guy staring at them from behind, right? They can feel like eyes like daggering them from the back. That's intention. You can feel intention from people, even if you're not even facing them, right?
100%.
So same thing, business, sales, people can feel your intention. If you have positive intentions going into a call, positive intentions going into a deal where you have that win-win mindset, people resonate with that so much more than, a take kind of mindset, a taker kind of mindset, and a lower conscious mindset. And on that note, we're going to end this podcast today. Thank you so much, Oliver. Oliver, you can find Oliver on his Instagram and Twitter. Link down in the bio here. And Oliver, if you want to plug yourself, go for it.
Yeah, guys, if you are looking to just absolutely elevate in life, in mind, body, and spirit, the way I do things, the way I do quote unquote sales isn't really sales for me. It's 3 calls. I want to have a conversation with you and get to know you first. And then through that, we can see if even working together makes sense. And then I have a second call. On that call, I extract all I need to know about you. Even then, I still don't know. And then I do a third call and I make a blueprint on exactly what we're going to do. And even at that point, it doesn't matter to me if you sign up or not. It's, hey, I have this opportunity. You want to walk through it? Let's fucking do it. Let's go. So if you want to just have a conversation, I'm happy to serve you and help you in any way, shape, or form. And if you feel like you're struggling with maybe money mindset, limiting beliefs, you feel that you're just triggered in certain emotions, and you just want to up level in life, mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally, message me. I'm happy to help. And again, check me out on Instagram at Oliver Fehlandt, and I'm also on Facebook, again, at Oliver Fehlandt. And Kazi, thank you so much for having me on. This was an epic conversation. Guys, listen to this a couple times because there was massive gold in this. Thank you again. Happy to be here.
Thank you, Oliver. All right, guys. See you guys on the next episode. Ciao.